The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Welcome, everyone, to Wrestling to the Max, and tonight we are going to have a really fun show because we're going to be talking Payback, and that's right, it's coming up this Sunday, so we're going to preview that for you. We're going to have a lot of fun doing that because guess what? It's going to be an interesting show, kind of letting go of some of those SmackDown stars and Raw stars that have switched shows, and this will be the conclusion of that. And, of course, then we'll be talking about some news topics this week. We'll be talking about Vince McMahon having a movie coming out. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Also, we're going to be talking PWG. They're not going to just do those old, once upon a time shows here, there, and everywhere. They're actually going to start a monthly thing. So we'll be getting into that and a lot more. You do not want to miss this show. Trust me. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So, and we are going to probably... Are we going to skip the intro this week, Sean, or are we going to go ahead and play it for him?
I got it right here.
Let's get into it.
Entertainment.
What time is it?
There is nobody that holds a candle to the king.
I wouldn't be opposed to, maybe you build some tag teams here.
We are the absolute best tag team of all time, bar none, the greatest tag team of all time.
Jay White's going to be a star, no matter where he goes.
I'm going to be the guy that spits in the face of cliches. I'm going to be the guy that tells time to off.
Man, what in the world is Joe doing? Just standing. And then I thought to myself, maybe he just likes Jericho's music as much as I do.
You know what this is?
Excited, dude.
This is my victory walk.
Nice. You know what look good on that?
Just peacocking around, showboating.
Championships.
Gentlemen, congratulations on becoming the #1 contenders.
Oh, showboating on the regular. Titles on the regular. Beautiful faces on the regular.
Nice, yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good.
I feel great, dude.
I'm feeling pretty good. What do you want to do now?
I don't know.
know.
Can we win again?
Let's do it.
Let's win again, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the max.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughan, Sean Garmer, and Paul Vieser.
Hey, we are here and we are ready for episode 244, part 2. And tonight, like I said before, we are going to have a great show. I am your host, Gary Vaughan. Along with me is Mr. Sean Garmer.
What's up, everybody?
And sadly tonight, Paul is not with us tonight. He is actually doing some other stuff. And of course, that's the way things shake out sometimes. We had to delay the show a night because of the fact the NFL draft took place. Sean and I had some commitments with the football show, and it's a once-a-year thing, so, hey, we had to push the show off to another night. And Paul is a busy man. His weekend gets crazy, so he's going to take the night off tonight. It's just me and Sean, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing a great show, Sean. We're going to have a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit slimmed-down version from what we normally do on the part 2s, but... hey, sometimes you got to improvise when things happen.
That's true. So if you're looking for Impact Wrestling, we're going to hold off. I know we've been holding off a lot because we missed last week's show on a Thursday. So what we're going to do is we are going to combine some of these shows together. We're going to talk about feuds in Impact Wrestling next week. We're going to really get down and dirty with Impact and probably talk a lot about the entire storyline of each feud. And some will be longer, some will be shorter, so you will get your Impact Wrestling fill. Trust me, just not this week. If you want to hear us maybe make some comments or something about it, let us know. We may even do a little bit of talk about it on Monday to kind of give you your Impact fix if you want Impact. And of course, we'll give you some other good stuff and then quick hits. At least you're getting your news this week. But we don't want to go do too much without Paul. Paul usually, is a big part of us getting through the Superstar of the Week and things like that too. So we're going to delay that to Monday as well. So yeah, it's a very slimmed down version of the show, but still filled with lots of great stuff. But before we jump into all the great wrestling talk, Sean, I just got to say one thing to you. We got through round 2 of the NFL draft. We did a whole awesome Football to the Max show draft round 1, and that was a lot of fun. Me, you, and our great friend Randy Isabel got through that, kind of, had a lot of fun discussions. But I just got to know really quickly, what were your thoughts on round 2? And especially with our Cowboys, man. They kind of went defense for sure.
Well, I mean, they did, technically, is rounds 2 and 3. You get rounds 4 through 7 at noon tomorrow, and then it ends. But, yeah, for night 2, I liked the defensive back pick. Probably, would have loved to have taken, another one besides him. But, we were starting to get into the lower end guys, but you definitely needed to take that position, so not complaining there. And it was another defensive back right in the third.
Yeah, they got 2 defensive backs, one from Michigan and one from Colorado, which Colorado's the thumper. The one from Michigan is another guy that they're going to look for special teams help, probably give him a lot, of good help there. So that's what's awesome. They needed to get that position, so they've got that taken care of. And we'll see what happens on Saturday for our team, and other storylines like Kaiser going to Cleveland is interesting, So
yeah, definitely. That's and then Webb going to the Giants. So
yeah, it's gonna be
even
crazy.
freaking, I can't believe the Iowa quarterback got taken already too. That's crazy.
People love their quarterbacks. Oh, man, it is
a little bit too much, seriously.
I am shocked. This is one thing this year. They took so many quarterbacks. I just was so shocked. I was like, good God, this class is not that good.
Right, exactly. Isn't that all we heard? Everybody talked about, this class is not that good. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, it seems like we're killing that. Just they're actually apparently great. Never mind.
Yeah, that's what they're thinking. At least let's see. We'll see next year, right? We'll see them in action and see how good they really are. So, but I think that's kind of our football chat really quickly. Just want to throw that out there. Me and Sean have not had an opportunity to talk draft. If you want to hear us talk a lot more though about the draft, you need to check Football to the Max out on Monday night. We are going to do that fully for you, get into the entire draft, what we really love, what we really hated, and all the stuff that's in between with Randy Isabel. So you do not want to miss that show. And of course, Monday nights we'll also be doing our Wrestling to the Max show also. So don't forget W2Mnet.com. That's where you're going to find not only this great wrestling show, but you also find that football show. Plus, Sean does a games podcast called, Video Games to the Max. So you don't want to miss that as well. Tons of stuff on W2Mnet.com you don't want to miss. Trust me, it's a world of fun. There's entertainment there. I mean, Sean just interviewed a director for a movie, and that movie's got Batista in it. What's the name of the movie, Sean?
It's called Enter the Warrior's Gate.
Enter the Warrior's Gate.
Which
so
technically he got the role for the movie before he did Guardians. And then he started filming it after Guardians and after another movie. So, the director didn't see him in Guardians and grab him. He grabbed him when he did the Man in the Iron Fist. And that's when, of course, this movie is very similar. It's a lot of Asian. It's based on Chinese culture, and he kind of just gets the main character who's not Asian. Gets dumped into this video game that's sort of based on China, and there's a lot of fight scenes and stuff. So, and
that's
Batista
awesome.
gets to be kind of funny, which is cool.
So if you want to hear Sean talk all about this, you need to go check out W2Mnet.com. That's where you're going to find that content. And man, trust me, it's really great. I'm going to love checking it out myself. And also don't forget, go subscribe to Wrestling to the Max. That's always going to help us if you go do that. And also rate and review. We appreciate everybody that's already subscribed, but if you rate and review, that gives us an extra boost, gets our name out there a little bit, lets other people find this show and a lot more. So we would appreciate that. Sean, let's start out the show and let's talk some Payback. Is that cool with you? I think this is going to be a fun pay-per-view, even though it's not exactly the most, exciting pay-per-view I think we've come across. It's still going to be pretty good. So, do we have music for that?
Well, I'm sure they have a theme song for the pay-per-view. I don't have it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I was kind of concerned.
5 minutes to sit there. Wait, now I'm interested to see what the heck the theme song is for this show.
You can go ahead and look this song up, but I have to point this out. And I was really hoping Paul would be on with us tonight because we could all discuss this. And we'll probably talk about it on Monday as well. But really quickly, the Dallas area just got news that they are going to have...
Oh, it's Papa Roach.
Oh, is it really?
The Born for Greatness Papa Roach song. It's off their new album that comes out the weekend of Backlash, actually.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Okay, I get you. Really quickly, though, I do want to mention this July pay-per-view they've got coming to Dallas, and it's going to be called Great Balls of Fire, Sean. What the heck?
Wow. I think if I'm Jerry Lee Lewis, I'm turning to my grave right now. I don't really? Did somebody... Officially, someone is on drugs at the WWE marketing department. Who thought of this and said... Let's do it, guys. Do you not? Mm-hmm. I get it, right? If you get people making memes and stuff online, it's gonna grow. It's gonna get interest. So, in a way, they are garnering interest by making it so stupid that you're like, oh my god, now I have to pay attention to this thing. I gotta see what the hell it's all about. The funniest thing is it's I guess gonna be Brock Lesnar's first title defense as well. That got leaked in the posting. So it's what the hell?
Yeah. It also shows you the direction they're going right now, right? It's kind of a sneak peek into it because of the fact that that's all the way in July. I know it's not that far away, but still, that's still quite a bit away from where we're at now. And that's kind of sad that the first defending, for him is that in July. My God. But that just showed us that's a terrible name. They need to fix that title. I know they won't now, but my God. Sounds very WCW-ish in a way. I hate to say it that way, but it really does, right?
Yeah.
Some cheesy, ridiculous name.
It's absolutely just... What were they thinking here? God.
Oh, man. Thanks a lot, WB. Ruining my birthday. Anyway. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this Payback card. We've got a lot to talk about. We are going to start out by talking about something that, is a pre-show. And I know a lot of people are like, well, this match may be watched by me, may not be watched by me, but, it's one that I think you may be interested in. We have, of course, the team of Gallows and Anderson facing off against Enzo Amore and Big Cass. And it's not like we haven't seen that 100 times, so I'm sure people may skip the pre-show, but yeah, what do you think this one's going to turn out? Who's going to win this one?
I should note there's also a Miz TV with Finn Balor. But since there's no match there, we don't really need to talk about it. But that's crazy that Finn Balor is on the pre-show. But yeah, I mean, this is a feud that's, they've had it before. And then they kind of reintroduced it here because of the Revival injury. And I'm fine with it. It's been what it is. Kind of feel like it's on the pre-show. You might get Enzo and Cass kind of sneaking a win there to get the crowd going.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, really, honestly, especially since the Hardys have been in this tag division, Gallows and Anderson have done very little. I mean, they think they've won a few, but not many. And Enzo and Kaz, they really desperately need a victory. They're kind of in the same boat as Gallows and Anderson now, right? I mean, ever since the Hardys have shown up, they've kind of taken the back burner. And they're not the big baby faces that they kind of once were. At least it's the way it feels to me. I don't know, Sean, I don't know if you agree with that, but I kind of feel like they've kind of taken a step back too. So.
Oh yeah, Gallows and Anderson were already kind of on the "Do We Matter" section, and they had him win the titles. And okay, cool, but Enzo and Cass have kind of been. They've been more focused on these commercials than I think being on Raw and really making any kind of say or impact or anything. So
Yeah, that is true. I think I'm going to go with Enzo and Kaz. Like you said, they're more interested in doing commercials and stuff, but I think that they really need this win, and I think they'll get the crowd hot and they'll get ready and excited about this. So. Let's talk about some stuff that's going to be happening on the main roster, like Alexa Bliss and Bayley fighting it out to see who can win the women's championship.
Yeah, I think you definitely could. It's a possibility, especially if Nia Jax gets involved or something like that. That there's always that wild card. I forgot to mention that because I was on the 411 Fact or Fiction this week. And I didn't even think about that when I was writing it until it just kind of popped in my head that there's always that possibility that perhaps, Alexa has one up her sleeve and maybe that involves Nia Jax getting involved. But I also look at it and go, did they mess this up to the point where they talked too much about the hometown thing, and perhaps this means that, hey, it's going to go the other way this time. This means Bayley's going to win in spite of all that, and I think that's what you could see here. I think, look, you can make the case that Alexa Bliss is great, and I like her, and I thought she had a decent match with Sasha. But I really would say that I don't see why Bayley needs to lose the title right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
especially because you're building to that Sasha Bayley match. Like I don't know that you need to move it over to Alexa just to kind of keep going in circles.
When is the official time? Okay, so SummerSlam is in August, right?
Right, so you would have, you'd have, I think Money in the Bank is it in June? But I mean, you have two. This is the May pay-per-view technically.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the SmackDown one. Then you've got the June, whatever the June pay-per-view is going to be for Raw. And you got July as well. You already know the Great Balls of Fire. And so you got two more pay-per-views. You got to figure something out here to kind of get you to SummerSlam. Now, there's nothing that says SummerSlam has to be the first match either. Mm-hmm. SummerSlam can be the second match between Sasha and Bayley after Sasha turns or something like that. Or maybe the third match. So yeah. I just don't see why you need to have Bayley lose it this quickly already.
No, and I'm with you. It's weird. I'm kind of a little bit the opposite way, though. I mean, I totally get your point, and I honestly think Bayley keeping it's a good thing. But I look at Alexa Bliss comes over to this roster. They've already kind of made her look like she definitely belongs. She is somebody that I think everybody on the roster has to be aware of. And I think her winning here and kind of ruining Bayley's night in her hometown, there's still time for them to kind of let her hold the belt for a month and a half, and then have some crazy match, even if it's on Raw, where they have a multi-woman match, and then somehow, some way, either Nia Jax causes the victor. I don't think Nia Jax is going to win the title. I'm not saying that, but I think she's going to cause maybe Alexa Bliss to lose it again, and maybe Sasha or Bayley take the belt, and then you head into SummerSlam with a hot feud. So I think you can still get to the Bayley and Sasha thing, but I mean, like you're saying, it's not that long of a timetable, so maybe they can. But I don't know. I'm going to pick Alexa Bliss here. I could be completely wrong, but I think it would be something they'd be interested in doing. So let's talk Seth Rollins taking on Samoa Joe. And this was one that I think is going to be a lot of fun because I think these guys are, familiar with each other enough to where they're going to make this thing pretty hot. I'm really curious to see, if there's going to be any other, incidents involved with this. But I think for the most part, this is going to be a straight up match. I'm really curious to see if they're going to let Samoa Joe have the victory. And I'm going to pick Samoa Joe here. I think he needs to win. I think if he's the destroyer, he can't come out and then just start losing immediately. I think this needs to be more of a battle where Seth Rollins has to fight him for a longer period of time than just, this one. So I'm picking Samoa Joe here, Sean. What about you?
I think I might go along with you. I totally agree. Samoa Joe look, you can obviously do them having a great match, and Joe looks good here, but I think you gotta have, whether it's by DQ, whether it's by some kind of form, I don't think you can have Joe lose outright to Seth Rollins. So I would think that maybe Rollins wins by some kind of DQ or something.
Mm-hmm. That's the only way it can work, at least in my personal opinion, and that's what you're saying too. And, as good as Seth Rollins is, and as much as, he does have some support, I think still people don't know what to think about Seth Rollins at times. But I think for the most part, they definitely want him to still get over, but you can't do that and hurt Joe at the same time. So a DQ makes sense to me. Otherwise, Samoa Joe's got to win. He just has to. So. Let's move on from here and let's talk about another match that I think is very interesting because of the way they could go with this one. This is Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, and Strowman has pretty much eviscerated Roman Reigns in recent history because we saw him get thrown into the ambulance and then turned over and all that great stuff. So how do you feel like this one's going to be, Sean? I mean, this could go either way as well.
So that's officially an ambulance match now?
No, I was just kind of go back into history and telling what, happened. Now, if this would be great if it was an ambulance match. I can't lie. I would like to see that, but I know it's not.
That's sad. Yeah, I feel like they missed an opportunity here to actually have a really good ambulance match. Look, these guys had a great match. I can't think of the show it was on right now, but it was one of the standout matches of that show. And they could definitely have another one again, especially considering where they are for this, and depending on how the crowd reacts as well. If it's one of those that gets completely around Braun and hating Roman, obviously the story that you want to tell is not going to be told through the match because the crowd's not going to be going with it. But if they can make this interesting, and they can let them go out there and just do their thing like we've seen them do, it's going to be entertaining, and it's going to be something you're going to want to watch again.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think, they're going to put a lot into this one because they definitely want Roman Reigns to come out and look as strong as possible. We've talked about Braun Strowman plenty of times, and I don't know what's in Braun Strowman's best interest to lose Roman Reigns again. Right? Because we've already had that happen on a pay-per-view. We don't really need that. Braun Strowman still needs to look strong. I think this one may be the DQ one for me. They've got to find some way to get this to end without hurting Braun Strowman. Or, like always, as of recent history, Braun Strowman just totally owning Roman Reigns, and then that doesn't help him any as well. So something funky's got to happen here. I would lean more towards Roman Reigns winning only because I kind of feel that's the way WWE wants to do it. But I'm going to say DQ. I think something's going to happen where Braun Strowman just loses it Or maybe even Roman Reigns loses it. Maybe Roman Reigns grabs a chair and just starts going to town because he's pissed that he's not winning. You never know. So
it's very true. You don't know it all until it happens.
Yeah. And of course, Roman Reigns has plenty of reasons to be that angry. I mean, he just got, killed basically. So let's talk about the Cruiserweight Championship match. And that, of course, involves Neville, the champion himself, facing off against AA Austin Aries. And I think, this would be a great opportunity for Austin Aries to win that Cruiserweight title. I think he put a great performance on with Neville at WrestleMania, even though, it had to be the first show or first match on that entire pre-show. And it just got kind of left out, even though it was such a fun match to watch. I think they're going to put on another great show here. You know what? Heck, I love Neville being the champion, but it would be a lot of fun to see Austin Aries win. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Austin Aries.
I think I'm going to go in the other direction just because I feel like you've just started this thing with TJ Perkins. And in order to flush that out a bit more, the heel turn anyway, I think you need TJ Perkins to screw Austin Aries over. And then you make the feud more about Aries and Perkins. And I don't know who you're going to have face Neville in the meantime or whatever. But or it can just be sort of a three-way feud or whatnot. But I think if you're really going to go for this, let's make this TJP turn a thing, I think you need TJP to cost Aries the win.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thought process. I kind of like that. I mean, I really do. You're right. That has much more meat in it than it does just to have Austin Aries win, and then you continue this feud between Neville and him, and then really you don't feed off that for anybody else. So your way of thinking could definitely be a more positive way of doing it. I think it'd be great to see Austin Aries win a championship, and especially in WWE. It'd be a fun moment for me at least. So that's just kind of why I did it, just for my own personal let's talk about another big match. Let's talk about the tag team titles. The Hardys are the owners of those currently, and they'll be facing Cesaro and Sheamus to see who comes out victorious. Now, this is one that's going to be kind of fun, I think, too, because I think that these guys have had some pretty good matches in between each other in the last 2-3 weeks that they've been kind of going at it. And I think that Cesaro and Sheamus have really grown as a tag team and have really come to be something special. I just don't know that they're going to beat the Hardys. In my personal opinion, I don't see it happening, Sean. I think the Hardys come out still victorious.
I mean, there's always a possibility, right, that they figure out this thing with the lawsuit, and you could obviously have the Hardys lose the titles, and then Bray's coming off the big win, and maybe we have a new Wyatt family with the Hardys turning broken that way. But I'm going to go with you. I don't think that that's near settled yet. And I'm going to think the Hardys retain here. I don't know what to do because it's not like you just have all these tag teams waiting in the wings right now. You got another month at least for the revival. So do you have Cesaro and Sheamus go at it with them again? Or it's just, it's slim pickings right this minute.
Yeah, it really is. And that's kind of the reason, I really can't see that title change. But not only that, the Hardys are so over right now. It just, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to take the belts away from them. Now, the way you stated your case about Bray Wyatt coming into the fray, that could be very interesting. I always think about that. We keep talking about that. And just really quickly, I just wanted to mention this. But, who really becomes the star of that, though? Because Bray may feed it. But is Bray really going to be over? Because, the broken thing really was all about Matt running the show. So,
well, it was, and that could be it, right? That could be the way they split off, is that Matt becomes broken and he becomes so overwhelmingly powerful or whatever that it causes him to leave, or Matt just becomes like insane and Wyatt doesn't know what to do, and Matt eventually, gets Jeff into it as well, and there's things that they could do. It could be like the Brood, sort of, right? Where you have Bray kind of have him under the spell for a little while. They understand. They stay broken, but they kind of go off and do their own thing, and eventually you hope it becomes something similar to what you got in Impact. But we'll see. We may never get it, because that lawsuit could go on for years. But, I mean, that's how those things work, right?
You're right.
It could literally go on for years if Impact has their way. And let's hope not, obviously. But it's possible. And so you always have to... WWE brought them in as just the Hardys. They could stay that way. And if that's the case, I think there's not a reason right now for them to lose. Now, obviously, and especially because I think the guys that they might have had an idea for them to lose them to would be the Revival. And there's no point of having them lose to anybody else until the Revival are back and ready to do their thing.
Yeah. You make a good point there, too. And before we move on, I do want to touch on this really quickly. If we do have a scenario with Bray Wyatt, aiding in this whole broken situation with the Hardys, I would love to see where he's playing them really just as kind of his own personal game, just like he finds a way to turn them broken and just leaves them none to their own device, lets them their own device, right? He just turns them and then laughs at everybody and says, I destroyed your lovable tag team, So, but even though he didn't destroy him, he just turned him,
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about another interesting match. And this one is one of the ones I was kind of talking about before the show got started because, we've already got Kevin Owens moved over to SmackDown, but he's going to fight in this because he's still kind of going to conclude that thing with Chris Jericho he's got going on here. So we're going to have this match. And Sean, I mean, I'm really curious. I think we both know who's going to win. I'm just curious, do you think these guys are going to put on a one heck of a show? Because I think that these two guys want to go out, with at least a 4-star match. They're going to try their best to put on a great show.
Yeah, you definitely, I don't know. I don't know that we may get that, honestly. You could see Kevin Owens just come in there and destroy Jericho. And just put an end to him because he's going to be gone for a while. I mean, you hope that you have a good match between the two, but it might just be in the cards for Kevin Owens to go in. I'm the face of America, and I'm going to beat down Jericho and I beat him down so bad he left. Mm-hmm. It would kind of go in with Owens' MO, if that's the case. So, leading to maybe Nakamura challenging him, or well, we already have AJ. But, yeah, I mean, he's already got a date with AJ, so kind of leaving your past in the dust, I think, is a different deal. Like, I think with, the other match that's sort of in a similar vein, Wyatt and Orton, you might see a bit more close there, whereas here, you could really just see a 10-minute match that's just dominated by Kevin Owens.
I mean, you may not be wrong on that. I think that, eventually we will have Kevin Owens go to that whole destruction of Chris Jericho phase in this match. And I kind of feel like they're going to put one heck of a match on. It may not be very long, but I think they're going to put on one heck of a match. And then it's going to turn somewhere where maybe Kevin Owens isn't getting his way and he just does whatever he has to do to destroy Chris Jericho. And if that means just, finding a way to beat Chris Jericho using something dastardly or something like that, and then just destroying him after the match is over, that's kind of the way I see this thing going. So, but I think Kevin Owens, there's no way Kevin Owens is going to lose this because there's no way Chris Jericho is going to SmackDown, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, it would be counterintuitive here.
Yeah. So. All right, well, we only have one more match to talk about, and this is the House of Horrors match. And trust me, this is not taking place at the Bunny Ranch or anywhere like that. This is actually supposed to be a scary thing, right? And,
supposed to be.
Yeah, supposed to be. Yeah, we'll see how
it could be a house of laughs for all we know.
Yeah. That's true. It could be like a bunch of awful jokes, that some of us get, some of us don't, because, Vince has a weird sense of humor at times. But this is, supposed to be something kind of terrifying, and you got Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt involved. Bray Wyatt's on Raw now, and they're just kind of concluding this thing. The only thing that concerns me, Sean, is, we really want Bray Wyatt to come out looking strong because he's on a new brand. There's no reason to have Randy Orton come in here to just destroy him. But then again, does the SmackDown side want their WWE champion to lose? I don't know. This is the one I'm kind of stuck on. I'm really not sure who I want to...
I mean, it's not for the title.
No, it's not.
Okay, so, and we know WWE's, 50-50 booking here. Having Bray win wouldn't be bad. And also you have the thought that perhaps, Harper and Rowan could get involved again because this is a cross-brand thing. So I'm going to guess that those two guys are available as well. At least Rowan anyway, and maybe not Harper, but Rowan certainly. So, could he be a deciding factor? You did have a actually pretty decent match with him and with the Orton and Rowan on SmackDown, so he could come into play and cost Orton the match.
Yeah, that could be a big deal there. And I mentioned this before, and we kind of joked this off and laughed at completely out of the thought process or even ability for them to do this, but I kind of thought about maybe bringing back some of the guys and maybe some of the legends that Randy Orton killed off, right? He's a legend killer. So I think it'd be kind of fun in this House of Horrors to bring back one, maybe even two guys that Randy Orton punted and knocked their heads off, and now they come back to haunt him. I think that'd be kind of fun. Not to, really get too crazy, but maybe have them appear and really freak Randy out. Do things like that. I mean, heck, even have a bag that was pooped in and, show it to him, scare him. So, I don't know. I'm kidding around, but I think that they should do something like that. Kind of play those mind tricks, but make them make sense. Let's not do some stupid bugs and bats and just weird, funky things, clowns. We don't need to do any of that. Do stuff that really is mind tricky. Have fun at the same time, but I don't know.
Please don't do any kind of 3D effects or... Like, I don't want any projection screens or... Just please don't do that. Just don't.
Yeah. Exactly. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, for me, I'm going to pick Bray Wyatt. I think your point about this is not for the WWE Championship, it means a lot. And I think that, this really is in favor of Bray Wyatt. It's just his background. This is his playground. So I think that it aids him in a victory. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, that is Payback. That is, a full card for you guys. And of course, this Sunday, go check it out. And hopefully we'll be doing a post show. I know we try to do those on every occasion. I'm really looking forward to that post show, kind of figure out where things are going. We'll actually know a direction for a lot of these guys and really get excited about what's in their future. So there you go with Payback. All right, Sean. Well, now we got to talk some news, man. We've got some interesting news topics to jump into in the world of wrestling, so let's go ahead and do some quick hits.
Let's do that.
It's time for wrestling news. Quick hits.
All right. All right. Well, Sean, we got some news this week that Vince McMahon is going to have a biopic made of him, and this movie will be made entitled Pandemonium. And this is going to be all about, everything with his life and some of the things that have been, a part of his history personally and the way he's kind of run WWE. This is going to be a part of WWE Studios. They'll be partnered up. So this is going to be a situation where Vince has complete say in what's going to be in that script, which is maybe a good thing or maybe a terrible thing. I don't know what to say about that because Vince could, just throw a bunch of stuff and we would never know. and take all the bad stuff out too. So, but what do you think about this? I mean, I think it's kind of cool that they're going to have a movie for Vince. I mean, Vince is a guy that we always hear about in the history and how, great he is and the genius behind, WWE. But really, what do you expect out of this?
Yeah, the thing is, right, like what they had before, where it was an independent guy doing it, would have been a much better movie because you don't have Vince's influence, you don't have WWE Productions in there, you don't have any of that. Now, it's Vince signed on, WWE Productions is in it, so it's like, how much of a truth of Vince's story are we going to get? How much is going to be in there? What are they going to take out? What's the narrative they're going to try to spin on this? And that's sad. When you're telling a biopic about somebody, this should never be in the question. You're trying to tell the true story about the guy. Now, granted, right, we had two different biopics on Steve Jobs that had him painted in a different light and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I mean, good for WWE that they got TriStar Pictures trying to get in on this and Sony and all that kind of stuff. But it's just, man, I really wish it was without Vince's influence here.
Yeah, I agree. And the reason I do is not because I think Vince is going to be a complete jerk about this, but I kind of look at Vince McMahon based on the way people have described him, the closest people to him. And even the people that have been with him, a majority of, a certain time period or just in one day with him, he's a guy that's kind of vain. I mean, he really looks at himself as someone who is kind of superhuman in a way, I think, because, you know how he is, Sean. He doesn't sneeze. He doesn't sleep. He works out more than anybody, those kind of things. And I think that, if they were to even put any kind of negative things towards him or make something that even kind of makes him look a little goofy, I could completely see that gone. And to me, it could also take away some of the humor, maybe take away some of the best parts of seeing what Vince McMahon's all about. So that concerns me. That's my problem with this. And like you said, an independent producer or director would really give this thing a great look. We could actually see Vince McMahon for who he is, and he's a human being like all of us. So I'm just afraid that Vince is going to be changing that human into someone who's, fictional. I don't know. So we'll see, though. I mean, I know we'll all be watching that movie. Pandemonium will be on our, DVRs or on our, iPad or whatever we're using to watch. We're going to watch it, and then we'll be reporting on it in the near future. So I'm just really curious what we think about it after we watch it. Let's talk about something that's kind of interesting because there was a lot of excitement about this, and that's the world of sport. That's right. They're supposed to have an ITV deal, and I think this is really kind of something that's kind of exciting, especially for all those fans over there in the UK. But this is getting delayed, apparently. That's right. It was supposed to be taking place really soon. They were thinking it was going to be taking place even in the summer, but they are going to delay it into the fall. They are saying it's not about sales, but it's more of a logistical thing, so that's why they're delaying this. So, Sean, I mean, I think it's interesting. They're already delaying this whole process to get World of Sport back. Do you think really ITV's kind of really second-guessing themselves, or why are they doing this?
Well, it's not for ticket sales or whatever. It's just a problem, and look, when you get Impact involved and you got to clear things with them, and it's not just World of Sport, you got to clear things with ITV, which is a huge, company in England and the UK, and it's just, that's a lot of people, that you got to sit there and get an okay from and figure out what talent you're going to use and figure out who's going to be here and when you're going to air this and how you're going to do the TV. And there's a lot of things going on there. So I think it's actually smart delay it until you have a firm plan in place, what you're doing, what's going to happen here, and yeah, don't just rush into it and then halfway, through the tapings you go, oh man, I wish we did this, and oh, we did this wrong, and whatever. So I'm totally down with them taking some time to think about it.
Yeah, I agree. And, this time away that they have and to really discuss everything can really maybe make the product even better. I mean, I think a lot of this, though, I agree with you 100%. I think it has to do with their partnerships. Impact Wrestling's a big one. Of course, now they've got to kind of figure out how they can schedule out their shows where they can include a lot of things that Impact has to offer, including Karen Jarrett, who is probably going to want to be on every episode. So they'll find a way to work that in too. So it's probably in their contract that she has to be on every episode. Wouldn't surprise me. But anyway, something that did surprise me, Sean, is the fact that the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, the Elite, well, guess what? Their T-shirts are now going to be sold in Hot Topic. That's right. In a mall near you, you're going to get a chance just to walk in and buy yourself an Elite shirt. This is kind of cool. I mean, I'm not a big Hot Topic shopper anymore. I was in my youth. Trust me, I probably kept that place in business in my youth. So it's going to be kind of weird now if I ever decide to walk in there and buy an Elite shirt, which I kind of would like to buy. But it's a good deal. I think it's kind of a cool situation for the Elite. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, this is great, right? Truly proves the Young Bucks independent, that they are. Look, I mean, they're getting money from ROH and New Japan, so they're not totally independent here. And we'll see if this involves anyone, if this becomes a New Japan deal in the long run or whatever. But or if it just becomes a ROH deal. But look, Young Bucks, Omega, and Bullet Club and Elite shirts being there, that's pretty awesome. And that's great for them, and that shows that you're getting into pop culture here. It's right around the things for Hot Topic to get into. This would be interesting to see if, maybe you see an Okada shirt there at some point, or you see a, Naito shirt with the Los Ingobernables eventually or something like that. I'd love to be able to go to a local mall and get some New Japan shirts or whatever, and not have to order them off Pro Wrestling Tees or whatever, and you can walk in and get them right then.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not only that, you can, just have fun with the fact that, you can buy them and not have to worry about waiting for shipping and all that stuff, and, just, share them with everyone else that may not know about them. So I think it's a great deal. I really, really do. And it may open up some doors for other people to get deals like this, possibly. You never know. I think it'd be kind of, interesting to see what, comes out of this. And maybe some other guys in the Bullet Club get involved in this and have their shirts sold at Hot Topic. You never know. Let's talk about something that's kind of funny and kind of sad at the same time. Let's talk about Impact Wrestling's Bram. That's right. We've talked about Bram here and there, but he's in trouble again. The guy can't seem to keep his nose clean. We've seen him in Noah recently because he's been part of their tag league, and now he has been suspended and pulled off of their Pro Wrestling Noah because of the fact that he has taken a picture of himself inside a convenience store freezer on the floor. So this is kind of an interesting story, Sean. I mean, what have you heard about this?
Well, I mean, he took a picture of himself inside an empty, refrigerator thing, and I think it's an empty, truck that had food in it. Whatever it is, it's a frozen place that has food, and the Japanese are very into cleanliness. You just don't do that kind of thing, right? You're going into a store and you're lying on somebody else's property and taking a picture of yourself. You do that in the U.S., you can probably get away with the guy yelling at you and you run out of the store or whatever. In Japan, that's not happening, man. And it was a big story there, and it's a shame to Bram, and shame to the promotion, and shame to Impact, and now they're considering whether or not they're going to have seminars for the foreigners when they come over and go, okay, this is what you can't do, this is what you can do. Just so you know, our rules are different here in this country, and you need to abide by them. So, look, Bram is the guy that's gotten into problems with police officers before and got himself fired from NXT. So, look, this guy having problems outside of wrestling is not a first for him.
Yeah, that's very true. This is not something that's, brand new to him, and he, I think for the most part, just made a silly mistake that, he probably wants to take back now. He can't, of course, that's something that's done and over with, but on the other hand, he needs to know the culture, and he needs to be aware of, those type of things. So a big lesson learned for him. I hate that for him, but, it's just the way things shake out sometimes, and you got to be careful. I know it's completely different. This is more the lighthearted version of being suspended, but we saw Chris Jericho kick a flag in Brazil, playing a wrestling character, and then, basically be threatened, his life be threatened. So, sometimes guys don't understand the seriousness of things in different countries. They just, play it off, having fun or doing something, and then find out later, hey, those people really took that more serious than I ever thought that they would. So, the best of Bram. I really do hope he, can overcome all this stuff and, move on and do some great things. Let's talk about another Impact star that's kind of dealing with something. Eddie Edwards was injured at the TV tapings as of late, and now he is apparently going to have surgery on his knee. That is not good. We've seen Eddie Edwards come through a lot, especially since his former tag team partner was the one who was always getting injured. Now, Eddie Edwards is finding himself on the shelf for a little while. Man, Sean, this is terrible. I think Eddie Edwards was kind of getting things going, was having a decent run here, and now he's kind of going to have to sit down.
Yeah, it sucks. He can't stay healthy, and it's his knee again, and then it could possibly, he needs surgery, so it's possible he's out for months again. It's just, this really sucks. They gave him that great run with the title, and then now he's into this feud that was sort of going somewhere, and now he gets hurt in the middle of taping. It's just,
Mm-hmm. I really, really do hate it for him. So hopefully he gets better soon, and, all the best of wishes for Eddie Edwards. Really quickly here, we are going to mention this really quick. Gunner apparently is getting really, really close. Actually, one physical away from joining NXT. We already saw Crazy Steve hop over to NXT. Now it could be Gunner that would be next. Sorry, Paul. I know how much he loves Gunner. So this is going to be fun talking about that with Paul in the near future. But yeah.
This is, like you said, it's going to be hilarious because Gunner could be in WWE. Wow. That's just amazing to me. That, just wow. Just Gunner of all people, look, Gunner's fine. It's just, gosh.
Yeah.
I can't believe they actually pulled the trigger on that. Like, do you really need people that bad that we got to come get Gunner? All right.
I know. I was a little surprised myself in that manner. But, I guess that they see something that we don't. The guy's fine. I know Paul doesn't like him. I've really never had a personal problem with him. But, I get it.
He is a very creative wrestler or whatever.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's no denying that. He really is. I don't know. I just really never had too much of a problem with him. But, hopefully NXT will do him a lot of good, and hopefully we will not have to worry about him being so bland. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he can kind of straighten that out and get better. So we shall see. So Well, that concludes quick hits.
Hold on. Before we get out of here, I had a few more things that we should probably mention here. Lucha Underground, they had the C2E2 convention, which, one of our he's been on the show plenty of times, Mr. Patrick Cutsa, he was at. It's in Chicago. And, Lucha Underground had several people there. Rey Mysterio was there. Eric Van Wagenen, former WWE writer that now writes for Lucha Underground, had an interview again, and he talks about, this whole theme that people have been talking about, how Lucha Underground is just continuing to go further and further out of the wrestling storyline realm and into some other, like movies and sci-fi, stuff like that. And he kind of admits that they could not sell Netflix on that this was a wrestling show. They had to sell Netflix on that this was a sci-fi show or something that wasn't wrestling. He said, that if we were a wrestling show, we couldn't get on Netflix. So, if you're not, and look, sometimes for me, it's getting to that point where it's like, I don't know, this is going in a territory that I don't know if I can keep watching it or not, but, if you're not a big fan of the way that they're headed, you may continue to be on the outside looking in on Lucha Underground. But if you're a big fan of them going way outside the wrestling storylines and all that kind of stuff, then may want to keep watching, because looks like that's what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, that's interesting. It really is, and I get the thought process that this is a sci-fi show, but I just still don't understand how Netflix can't see it as a wrestling show. I mean, a lot of it involves wrestling. I get that it's supposed to be sci-fi and people do die on this show. Man, I mean, I don't understand what the issue is when it just becoming, what it is. But, maybe they want to sell to sci-fi, so they kind of told them, look, that we're going to consider it. That way other people will watch it. We can include this when we, have someone watch Sharknado. On the bottom, it'll say, hey, if you like Sharknado, you'll love Lucha Underground. Who knows? But, that's the way sometimes it works out there in the, social realm of media. They kind of snub wrestling a little bit there, and I get this, but it is kind of sad that they can't just be a wrestling show and be accepted.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is sometimes, though, right? It's wrestling, and sometimes it's going to be seen as wrestling. ROH has some interesting things, including one Cody Rhodes, who admits that, this whole traveling thing is starting to burn him out a little bit, and he's going to have to just decide to sign full-time with somebody. And considering that he's been doing a lot more ROH in New Japan than he's been doing Impact, maybe that's the route he's going. What do you think about Cody Rhodes maybe staying in ROH? Especially with, and then doing New Japan stuff, he's going to be in the G1 already. We already know that. And not being on Impact with his wife.
I think that he really needs to find out where he wants to be, and maybe he has found that place. And if it's Impact, that's great. If it's Ring of Honor, that's great. And apparently he is leaning towards Ring of Honor. So I say do it. He really needs to do something that really keeps him focused. And not only that, it doesn't help him, to be honest with you, being everywhere. I know it's been fun for him to go wrestle everybody under the sun. He's completed his list and this and that. But really, when I look at this, and it really, makes me think to myself sometimes, am I ever going to get a really full story from this guy? Because we have to spend so much time on all this other stuff that he has going on. So I think him picking Ring of Honor is not a bad choice. Ring of Honor is going through a influx of their talent at the moment because of the fact that, they've had a lot of guys leave. And so now they've got a new roster turnover. He can be one of their top stars. We've heard rumors of even Adam Cole leaving Ring of Honor. So if that was to take place, there's a big hole right there for him to fill. And it's a great schedule for him. It's not bad. And like you just mentioned, Sean, the New Japan stuff, it's hand in hand with Ring of Honor. So he's not losing that much, and his schedule is a lot lighter.
Right. I mean, obviously, Impact has their own openings as well. AAA and Crash and Noah and stuff. So he would have the opportunity to travel and do things with their promotions too there. But you've done some things with Ring of Honor. I think you stay that way. If you're going to make that commitment to be in the G1, you better make the commitment to sign with ROH and go that route there. We've seen the good things that happen to you if you do, and then you do New Japan, and look, War Machine are the tag team champions right now. So they're still rewarding ROH guys, and that's a plus if you're liked by them. And obviously Cody has to be, or he probably wouldn't be in the G1. So. I think also probably should mention that the ROH did buy a few more TV stations. So they bought a group of TV stations, the Bonton Media Group. So if you live in these areas and didn't get ROH before, you might now. So certain areas of Tennessee and Virginia, Greenville, North Carolina, Eureka, California, some parts in Montana, and Abilene and San Angelo, Texas. So, you could be getting ROH on TV station near you.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, personally right now, I get Ring of Honor on my TV. I did lose it for a short period of time, and it bugged the heck out of me. I hated it. I wanted it back as soon as possible, and it did happen. And so them expanding, getting new places to have their show on and where people can freely access it is a great thing. I think sometimes maybe they don't understand how important it is to have their product available at any time. So especially in those markets where people are just flipping channels and they may catch it on that Saturday night. So yeah, I mean, this is great. I'm so glad to hear they're expanding that.
And the same people that kind of head up Lucha Underground, MGM and Mark Burnett, they have announced a Women of Wrestling syndicated show, which also has Jeannie Buss, formerly doing stuff with the LA Lakers, to get to have a sort of a promotion centered around Santana Garrett, and you also got Katie Forbes there. They've been doing shows in downtown Los Angeles and in Long Beach, California. So another promotion that don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but hey, more and more wrestling there for people that want to watch it, and more women's wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. And, that's not a bad thing. I think it's really cool to hear this news. We'll see if they, are successful and are able to pull that off and, make it work. I think, you get more talent, especially Santana Garrett, really talented. And I've always been bummed out that no one has really given her that big chance. I mean, everybody takes a look, says, okay, and then moves on. I think this is much deserved for her, at least, if this does happen, so.
Yeah, because she didn't really get the wrestling opportunity and Impact, and then she goes to Stardom and doing Shimmer and all that, and she does great. And then finally, you think, somebody's giving her a look. I still wouldn't be surprised if she's in the women's tournament, but we'll see how far of a reach that thing has. Did we talk about the PWG thing?
No, we have not. Yeah, go ahead and get into the PWG thing.
Because you said it in the intro. I didn't want you to say something in the intro and we don't even talk about it. But this isn't a huge deal unless you're... Look, the little place in Reseda only holds 400 people. So, and we've all heard the stories of how crazy it is to get into these shows. So, I guess this helps you if you've been wanting to go to these shows. There's going to be more of them. There's going to be almost like a monthly pay-per-view sort of idea now for PWG. And so, we know PWG is huge about, hey, we're going to get crowds from everywhere and we're going to get talent from everywhere. And this is kind of a neat thing that I guess PWG is trying. Let's see if it works. This means that you got to buy more DVDs and more product, and it could help them. It also could hurt them because you do more shows, it means people have less money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's very interesting. And, I get it for the part that, they want to really try to sell, what they're doing, and really just get it more consistent, have more shows for people. So we'll see. But, you always worry because they've never really done this on this much of a consistent basis. What is that going to do to, everything else they've got going on and what they usually do? Is that going to affect this in a majorly, how should I say this? In a major way to where it starts diluting what they're, giving you in a more, innocent way. I don't know how to say it.
Right.
You know what I mean, Sean? I could see it being diluted is all I'm saying. Where they
that certainly can happen. When you do more shows, just like NXT, all that, you get a diminishing returns eventually because it's like, okay, well, I've already seen it. How great can it be every single time? Granted, you could get 400 different people that might want to go because these shows are so elusive and people want to really get in this building, but it's still, you make it every 2 months or every 3 months, you've got people going crazy wanting to go to these shows. But you make it every month now, that's a whole different perspective you're putting on the talent, on yourself, on the merchandise now that they're having to buy, all that stuff. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. So, we'll have to see. All right.
And I do want to mention great news that Hanma is on his feet and walking around.
That is amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. That is really, really great news. This guy has gone through a lot, and just this time span of him not knowing his future and if he can even live his life in a normal way has been really sad. And I'm so glad to hear that. So, congratulations to him for being able to rehab this far and hopefully he can get further, Yeah,
on the other hand, Shibata still has problems on his right side, and Zack Sabre Jr. had to be taken off the whole tour because he was supposed to be wrestling Shibata, and because New Japan doesn't really do that where they put somebody in for you. If that's your storyline and the other person's out, then you're out too. So, especially with a guy that doesn't have the seniority like a Makabe, who, well, they'll find something for him to do, even though, his partner was Hanma and he's supposed to be doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If they say, okay, well, we don't have anything for you, so we're going to just take you off the tour. And that has to suck for Zack Sabre Jr. too, because he lost dates, but not like he has any problems getting other dates, right? But still, kind of sucks that we're not getting to see that match again because Shibata's still hurt, and we don't know if he's ever going to get cleared to wrestle again.
Yeah, exactly. So we will keep everyone posted on that stuff, and let you know as soon as we hear anything, you will know. But yeah, unless there's anything else, Sean, I think we are done with Quick Hits, and we've had a lot of them here, a lot of interesting things going on in the world of wrestling.
I know we're not doing the Impact yet, but it does kind of feel like obviously I think this week or last week is the thing where we learn about, GFW and TNA are merged. And now obviously you're having GFW title matches and stuff on Impact. Like, how silly is that, right? Like, GFW was never a thing. And now we're having this promotion versus promotion feud with a promotion that never really did anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know, and they're making it to be like, this is such a big deal. This title, that Magnus is wearing is so important, and this women's GFW champ, man, she is so tough. You don't want to mess with her. And I'm like, okay, we don't even have any backstory.
you do have to promote it that way because nobody's going to take it seriously. But
they don't show you any history though, Sean. I mean, this is just
because
going.
There is none.
Well, they have it. It's just it's all taped and they have it stored because no one wanted to buy it. Let's be honest. No one wanted to buy that, so that's why they have it just taped sitting around. Jeff Jarrett will be watching it when he's 70 years old, sitting there saying, "I created that. No one ever saw it, but I created it." And it's just going to be the way it is. I hate to be that way and to be ugly about it, but I just look at this as they should have used. Jeff Jarrett has complete control of that library. Make video packages. Show us who these people are. Give us an opportunity to know what you want us to know, right?
Right.
So, I don't know.
It seems silly that, we're doing this, but, it's Jeff Jarrett. He's going to do things that he thinks are, it might do something, but it's just, I don't get it. And congrats to Roderick Strong. He and his wife had a baby. So.
Oh, that is really cool.
What is it? They named him Troy. Venian.
Oh. Venian or Venian?
Venian.
Wow.
Venian. Venian.
Huh.
So.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, Roderick Strong is engaged with a MMA fighter, Marina Shafir. So cool for them. So just nice to leave things on a good note.
For sure. So congratulations. So. All right. Well, that pretty much concludes our show for the night. We had a good one here. A lot of fun stuff. We will have more great stuff in store for you guys next Monday night. Of course, we're going to do our normal show. We're going to give you Superstar of the Week for this week, but we're going to wait till that Monday night show. So you want to hear it. You want to hear who we actually decide that deserve that Superstar crown. Plus, we are going to jump into some, other talk like Ring of Honor. We'll be doing that TV taping, discussing that. And plus, we'll probably be getting into more of this whole post-payback, info for you guys. So you don't want to miss that. Plus, don't miss all the other great review shows we do during the week like Raw, SmackDown Live. You also have NXT, 205 Live, all that great stuff. So trust me, it's a lot of fun to do this content.
Sunday, the Payback review.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm hoping that takes a lot of precedent with people because it's a great show. You want to get to, really hear the full impact of what we have to say about what happened on that Payback show. So, trust me, it's a lot of fun. And, of course, W2Mnet.com. Don't forget to go there. You'll find not only all that content plus a lot more that you're not going to want to miss out on. Anything last word, Sean, you want to throw out there before we get out of here?
There'll definitely be a roundtable for Payback. I'll get that posted tomorrow at some point. It's just been finally gathering everybody's stuff, and we're working on one for Wrestling Dontaku on Monday. Paul and I will review both of the Road to show that had a championship match that ended with an interesting surprise, and show that I think might be going on right now or is about to start in an hour or two. The Wrestling Hinokuni show, so we'll have 2 New Japan shows to talk about. And then kind of lead you into the Wrestling Dontaku show that takes place on Wednesday, which hoping to have a roundtable again for that as well. So, and definitely, of course, like Gary said, check out for around the whole draft talk, finishing on the Tuesday show of Football to the Max. We might have a video game show by then. Of course, Soccer to the Max is there on Sundays. The Wrestling on Rap guys, they will also have their own Payback review as well. Let's not forget that. I don't want to feel like they're being not discussed here. And then also got to talk about all the other shows we have on the network. Make sure you subscribe. All the Rally to Broadcasting. There looks like next week is going to be probably everything about Guardians of the Galaxy, since that movie's coming out on next Friday. So they are really great about having theme weeks with all their shows, and you definitely want to check those out because those guys provide wonderful content. So
yeah. Alrighty. Well, great, man. Trust me, a lot of stuff to get into, so we are excited about it. We hope you are too. But we are going to get out of here. So until we get to see you guys next time, see you guys later.
Later, everybody.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.